Actually, that did not do better. Man. Okay. Hello, y'all. Good morning. It's about 2 in the morning, and I'm up around here and processing healing because I am solo living, right? I do have family. Um, they will pretend like they care about me, but they really don't. If people ask or something, they will definitely say they do, but where they been my whole life. My sister, yes, when you know, um, the one hotel was tripping and just randomly, probably because I was getting low rates or whatever reason, they canceled my stay. I was there for like 7 months because I was in shock because I was going through a lot and reported it. And instead of it being stopped, was given a 3 day notice and my door kicked in and put out when they were sexually harassing me. And again, this is my life. I was trying to get over that on my own so that I don't mess up my friendship I was building then. But she's a Scorpio. She definitely noticed every change in my voice and my tone and kind of took it personally. And I did not know how to explain everything that was going on because I had already told her other stuff about my life. And she was like, like stuff going on again. I did not want to tell her that, but she's a Scorpio. She knew something was going on with me. She didn't really believe me, you know, but yes, that was happening again. Um, so yeah, um, my sister did come through and gave me $1,000, and I needed it off back because I had already paid for the stay, and then they canceled my stay, and I had to get another place, you know. But um, going over handling being alone because at first I was just used to the abuse and I was used to people constantly trying to kill me and failing. So I was just like, forget it. The most I keep saving me. I'm just about to, my mom owes land. I was like, I'm not paying her nothing because of how dirty they keep doing me. I'm her child. I'm just about to stay here. But then they jumped me and I had to run for my life. And um, where I was with my friend London, um, and that was how in our meeting, our first time really meeting, she met me in the craziness of my life. But when I started to realize, because at first I didn't realize, when I started to realize that she was the only person I had in my life, that was so crazy. I felt like I was hanging by a spider web thread and it could easily snap and break at any moment. It was so wild. I'm pretty sure people thought I was on drugs because I was in a homeless shelter because we were supposed to be getting a apartment together. My mom kept trying to figure because my mom kept telling me like I needed to move, I needed to get my own place or whatever. She was trying to get me to get a trailer to go up on her land, and I didn't want to go up there because there's a drug dealer up there. But I didn't know they was trying to set me up for whatever. Especially that was I think I'm mixing up two different times. My mom's always trying to get me to move on her land. When I went with London too, my mom was again for the second or third time trying to get me to go up on her land. And so I already knew like my mom was trying to set me up. So I was telling her that I was leaving later than I was leaving. I was going to leave before so that um in her plans to set me up, she would be offset and I would be going and out of here before they could set me up. Um So me and London, I was supposed to be moving in with London in 3 months from the time. I told my mom 6 months. But I don't know. They moved a little plan to sooner and they jumped me. And then I had to, like, I told London I was coming early because I didn't have nowhere else in the world to go. Because my family cut me off from everybody. I just noticed people started treating me weird. I was not talking because I was being. My mom tied my son up and put a sock in his mouth. And like that was a lot for me to cope with. That was a lot for my son to cope with. But like I feel so bad because I told him not to make things up. I don't know why I said that. At the time, I don't know why. It was just too much going on. I thought that he was. I don't know why I did not believe. I didn't believe him because I was blocking out my life because my mom tied me up and put a sock in my mouth as a child. But I forgot all of that stuff because they always beat me and just tell me to be happy. So I forgot my life, and everybody was just telling me to forget and be happy. And my son kept saying all this crazy stuff. My son was still living with me at that time. And so I used to let him go visit my mom. But then every time I used to be walking up to the door, my son would be waiting for me, and he'd be at the window. He'd be like, "My mom's coming," or something like. And they would think he was just. I don't know if he asked for me a lot or whatever, but I would hear them just yelling at him and degrading him. And then they would be surprised and change when I'm at the door. So then, yeah, I stopped letting my son and my daughter go over there because then my mom almost let my daughter cut her finger off because she got her finger caught in the chain of her motorbike, and then my mom wasn't even going to tell me. And so that was the last time I let my kids go to my mom's house. Before my mom started stalking me and sending her friends and stuff to my house. And my family and stuff was threatening me because I wouldn't tell my ex-husband where I lived and I wouldn't let him see the kids. And so they were saying, like, if I don't let him see the kids, that they're going to tell him where I lived. And he tried to kill me. So all of that played into my decision process of, but the ultimate thing of letting my son go back with his dad was because he was he was he was digressing, and I thought that my mom's boyfriend would be good for him to be around, but then I seen that he was trying to make my son gay. Um and he was very intimidated by men being men. And so he literally was trying to make my son a bitch. So that was sent him, let him go with his dad. Um, and I don't know, man, processing things, processing a lot of these things for the first time. Everything I just said, processing out loud for the first time. Um, and a lot of things are out of my control because, of course, if I had a house, I would first thing would be getting my kids. Right now, I'm in a hotel. I had a studio. I was trying to get 3 bedroom, but I can't really afford that on my income. Um, was trying to get my kids, but then was being gang stalked by my management because I was a single person, and it wasn't even just me. Everyone that was single in that building, they was doing weird stuff too. There were two old people that were living single that nobody checked on them, that mysteriously died while I was there, and I happened to be in the elevator both times when the manager and the police were moving the bodies. So, and they was being real weird about it. And so that's probably another reason why they was targeting me, because I kept being at the right places at the right times. Every time they were doing some weird shit, I just always happen to be right there, like catching them doing weird shit. I don't know. I was just minding my business. I was happened to be in the elevator the same time, both times, 2 times. I don't know if it was more than that, but 2 times. And they were moving dead bodies of single old women that were living in the building, and they were just started this weird dialogue, like explaining, like it was just so weird. It was just like we like they was acting suspect. Um and then, like, because I was trying to get to be able to bring my son and daughter, because the studio, it was a nice size studio. Like, I could have put walls up, put a bunk bed, and still had my let out bed for my son and my daughter to come. But they were like, only my daughter could come. I didn't think that was weird at first until they start being weird. But they're like, specifically like, why? How you gonna choose which child I bring? You can't. But they're like, because they're like saying like it's not enough room. You could have 3 people in there, but so I was and am working to get my children. It just keep being setbacks, and now I'm in shock from that situation, which is wild because while I was there, I started to like the first time I started to feel safe and let my guards down, and then next thing you know, I start realize I'm being stopped by the management and the maintenance workers. Like it was just like you think you out of the woodwork, and then all of a sudden here come it. Like it's just life just be a lot. Um, so realizing and dealing with being alone, because at first I didn't realize I was alone. Um, I do have a friend, and the reason I don't talk to her every day is because I do be forgetting and thinking that I'm in real. If I talk to somebody every day, I'm gonna think I'm in a relationship with them. It don't my brain, the brain. I don't know. My brain is going to, and so I'm going through a lot. I'm trying to heal. I do care about her. I can't talk on the phone every day. Um, Her birthday is coming up. I'm thinking about that. I'm planning for that. Um, I do have a friend. We don't talk every day because I can't. I will forget, and then just the way like I accidentally be flirting. I hate that my personality is very sexual because we would not have sex. Like my personality is very sexual because people always been sexual with me. But then if you try to, I'm cutting all that shit off because I don't want to have sex. I can't help that my personality is like this. I'm trying to. I love my relationship with her because she's very mean. She's very mean, and she tells me she don't like me, and that's why I'm mean because I'm mirroring her personality back to the world, and not even just that, but also how y'all treat me too. So I don't have the experience of a regular relationship. So I do unintentionally. People tell me come off very sexual, but I don't. That don't even mean that I'm always aware. Because first off, I cut off all my connections with people. The only person I really talk to I'll be on Facebook a lot because I'm kind of like from being alone, but I'm trying to back off a lot. I'm trying to cope with being alone. Um, with London, it was almost like I'm so grateful for London because she was like, it's okay that you like me, but I don't like you, and you just need to understand that. Instead of people being like, oh, you're weird, this and that, don't talk to me. Like, I'm very, like, I'm trying to get a grasp. I'm not going to do nothing to you that you don't want me to do. And I'm not trying to have sex with nobody anyway. My personality just come off like this. And so, and so she just always reassures me, sometimes in a very mean way, sometimes in a nice way. But that helps me stabilize because my walls were viciously broken down. I'm not trying to be like this. I'm not trying to always be flirting or whatever. I don't think I always be flirting. This is me being real and open and honest with myself so that I can see and heal. I didn't see things as I remember being in the military and just having friends, and then all of a sudden, some they'll be like, "Why you leading me on? Why you? What did they call it? They like, why you? I don't remember what word they said, and like it threw me aback because like I was confused because like I didn't like these people at all. Wasn't attracted to them people. They knew I was in a relationship, but then they're talking about I'm leading them on. I didn't figure out or ask why they thought I was leading them on. I just stopped talking to them because I was confused. I was genuinely confused. But that's when I started questioning myself. And then I started looking back like with men, okay, because in the military, like I would be walking, like, and guys would be like, you got a man, you should let me be your man, isn't that? And I would just try to ignore them until they like I will try to be so unattractive. Like all I wear is basketball shorts and like I wear boy clothes and they don't give no fucks about that. um and so like I tell them I got a man, they don't care about that. And so I'll be roasting them. And it never really stopped, but like so with guys, if they weren't like aggressive with it, I just roasted them. And I just roast them. If they were like aggressively trying to degrade me and trying to blackmail me into having sex with them, then like I'm trying to remember, but like Specialist Johnson, we were on a football team together. Me and what is that? Is this girl that everyone said we look alike? We do look a lot alike. It's just weird, except I wear long socks and she wears short. We look so much alike. It is so weird. Like people's trying to get us to date, and I would not date her because she literally like we got to be related somehow, somewhere. She looked just like me. We dress almost alike, except for I wear long socks, she wears short socks. She wear hats, I wear beanies. Oh no, it was just it was so weird. We look a lot alike. I don't remember her name. But we both joined the unit football team and it was pretty cool. We used to hang out. Um Everybody used to hang out in my room because there was a day when they were moving all the units into one barracks because we were like spread out. We were spread out. We the one so they were like moving it to put all of our unit in one barracks building and then all of the other stuff because I think it was like everybody in the brigade they was just like had random rooms in that area, but they like organized it more. And that was a pretty cool time period because I had two rooms. I had a room in my old barracks for like a whole 1 to 3 months. I had like dual rooms. So I had a room that was closer to my work station, and then I had a room that was closer to the cafeteria. And so when it was time for work or whatever, like I would spend the night in that room, which I kind of was not supposed to be staying in. Um, and then I would so that I could go to work, and then like after work I would just go back to rest at my other room, and then so I could just be ready for lunch and I could take naps during lunch because you know them naps you be taking in the military, keep your boots on and everything. But so I was when they was doing that, they were switching everybody's rooms. So the males was it was 3 stories. The males was on the top floor, the females was on the middle floor, and I think it was also males on the bottom floor. Um, there was when they were doing that, they were changing the keys and stuff. They didn't have our keys yet, so nobody could come out of their room because when you close your room, the door locks. So we had to miss work for like I don't know if it was like 3 days. We all just had to like stay in our rooms. Um, some people like they was going through their window and stuff, but I was the only person that had cable because I think I was already, excuse me, I was already in that barracks or something. I don't know, but I was the only one that had cable. And I used to hang out with Hinton. I used to hang out with Hinton. That was oh my goodness, that was like one of the realest friends ever. She ended up getting moved to like Korea or something. But I had this friend Hinton. We used to hang out with. I used to hang out with, and then that one girl. Is her name Willis? I don't remember, but we were on the football team together. So it was her, and then some of her homies. She was gay too. Some of her homies, and there's this other girl. I There was this other girl that was always trying to like have sex with me, and I would not be with her until like she just got embarrassed because she was always trying real hard to get my body. But I would not be with her because she looked just like my cousin Jatara, and it was so all the girls that like me and that always be trying real hard to get with me always look like my cousin Jatara for some reason, and so I don't ever get with them. But she was like on my body, so I don't think she wasn't there because I wouldn't let her come in my room. But um, it was this one guy. I don't remember his name, and he used to hang out with Johnson, which Johnson seemed like he was pretty cool at first. Like he seemed like he was pretty cool. He seemed like a real down to earth kind of guy. He reminded me of my husband a lot, and that should have. I used to. I like. I He looked like my husband too. Um, but that's because I missed the red flags in my husband, and he is exactly a lot like my husband. But anyways, so I thought we was just friends, and we only became. I used to avoid him because he looked like my husband. But before I even like my sergeant major, I was on a sergeant major detail, and we had to like cut grass and stuff. And he kept trying to hook me up with Johnson, and I would not do that. But then we ended up hanging out because like Sergeant Major was being weird, but he never tried nothing with me. So like he used to try to like invite me to like play the video game with him, but like I just wouldn't go because like he's a boy. I'm not about to go to his room for any reason. Um, but he used to always come sit with me at lunch and stuff, and like he never did nothing weird in those times. Like he genuinely like he just wanted to be my friend, and that's how my husband started off too. But so we ended up moving barracks. He's in my company, so he moved. Also, we were on the same football team, so we did hang out. But then he started getting weird. Like he started like he because he had a girlfriend. So like he started saying like he wanted me to be his sneaky link. And so like I'm I don't remember what I said because I didn't used to always be Like, I used to be really soft and soft spoken. And so, like, we were in the room. He was like, we was in the room. We was watching TV. I don't remember what we was watching, probably sports. Everybody was in the room. I was in there. Hinton was in there. Her homegirls was in there. Willis and her other homies was in there. Her homies being also um Johnson and the other guy. It was like three guys. So it was like probably it was a lot of us in there. Everybody was sitting around the room watching TV, and Hinton got into bed with me because that was my closest friend. And so we're in the bed, laying down, watching TV, not in a weird way or nothing, like above the covers, just laying down in the bed watching TV. And then so Johnson like, let me get in the bed with y'all. And so I'm like, no nigga. It is, so we playing, like back and forth, like, and I'm being serious though, like, no, you're not getting in the bed. Um so then, like, he Hinton was supposed to dye his hair for him, but she ended up getting staff duty, which is a 24-hour shift. And so she asked me if I could do it for her. He asked me if I could do it for him. So I'm like, okay, whatever, like that's normal. So he came over, and that was the only time it was just me and him in the room by ourselves. He came over so I could dye his hair. I dyed his hair. This nigga started getting weird, trying to put the moves on me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so I don't remember. Nothing happened. I don't remember what I said. But then he was telling me like that he used to get raped by his aunt and stuff. And so like I was sympathizing, for him. 'Cause, like I was being raped by my aunt. But then that's when he told me like he wanted me to be a sneaky link. And I'm like, bro, how the fuck we go from you being raped to you want me like, what the fuck? Like, you have a girlfriend. I think I've met her before. Like, you're just being mad weird. And he got mad that I turned him down. And then that's when stuff started getting weird with me and him. He started like he would always be in my phone. Like, he would just walk up and snatch my phone out of my hand. Like, who you talking to? Like, he just be trying to monitor who I'm talking to. And like Willis, the girl, she like they start trying to blackmail me to have sex with him, talking about like if I don't have sex with him because he worked in S2 or S6, whichever one handles the paperwork for your leave and pay and all that. Talking about like if I don't have sex with him, then he's not gonna approve my leave, he's not gonna approve my pay. And so that pissed me off. And my people noticed change in my in my how I am. And I also wanted to get off the football team. And I did get off the football team because he kept harassing me, and then they kept harassing me to have sex with him. And I wasn't about to do that. I was actually getting angry to where I was about to hurt him because he kept like he was lying and saying like we did stuff and we never did. And so I told my NCO what happened, and then he ended up moving units, and then everybody was like, a lot of people was like mad at me, giving me dirty looks and stuff. And then I don't know. I'm not going to get into every situation. I don't know how I handled all those situations, but he's not one of the people. I don't know who told me. He's not the person that told me that. I don't know. I don't even remember the guy's face, but somebody told me that I was leading them on. And like, I was confused because like I was just being me. But I tested that out with London, not like with guys. Like, I will be me. With girls, I used to let them do whatever because, like, I would just freeze. I would just freeze because I was already being abused my whole life. So I didn't have time to process. It would just start happening. And then my brain would start thinking dialogue. And while I'm thinking dialogue, like what's going on, like they're all on my face and like, and it just happened. And I'm still thinking. I'm inside my body. I'm not presently there. And so with London, I was like, okay, people said this to me. Let me see how I'm coming off. And so I was paying attention and like, nah, I definitely coming on very, very, very sexual. And then when they be sexual, I don't talk to them for like 3 days to like a week or 3 weeks because it's not something that I'm consciously doing. And sex does scare me. I'm not trying to be sexual, not aware that I'm coming off sexual. I'm trying to be normal. I like, you can have a relationship with me and I can be me and it would never lead to sex. It would never lead to sex. But people always tell me that I come off. Not always. This was like over 12 years ago that somebody said this. And then I isolated myself because I was like, it was too much for me. Like, I'm not trying to have sex with anybody. I was in a relationship, and I don't know why I'm being told that I'm leading people on. Like, what am I doing that's leading you on? So, back to the topic point, handling being alone. That was wild when I when it was just me in London, and I was in Ohio, first time ever being in Ohio. I came early because my mom and my sister jumped me. Um, that scared her, so she canceled our apartment, and then I went to a homeless shelter, and then I ended up getting my own place. She ended up getting her own place. I think it probably scared her that I still came to her town. That's probably why she was still talking to me. That's what I think. This is what I think. Um, and I was like hanging out at Cincinnati State. Um, and like, I was just like crying because like my life just like poured in. And I was just thinking about all these things. So I'm like, I'm crying and then I'm laughing and then I'm crying and then I'm laughing. I'm pretty sure they got cameras and they was like, what the fuck? This bitch is on drugs or something. And like, I'm just having a breakdown because I realized like I'm alone in the world. And if London decides to stop talking to me, I literally have nobody. And it was at one point where she did tell me to stop talking to her. And then I realized by that point, like, it's impossible to be completely alone, and especially without losing your mind. Sometimes I went days without even saying words at all. And I realized, like, it's been days since I even, like, opened my mouth to speak. And so, like, I did go to, like, to class, Hebrew Israelite class, but then I realized, like, it was a lot because I was not used to being around people because my aunt kept me isolated in the garage. And then we moved, and then I had the only room, which wasn't a room. It was like an office without wall, without doors, or even like it was like open wall, and I had like a sheet up. And I was the only person downstairs, and I wasn't allowed upstairs except like once a week to take a shower and wash my clothes. And I wasn't allowed around the family. I wasn't allowed to watch TV. I was not allowed to sit on the furniture. There was no furniture downstairs in the second house. Except yeah, there was no furniture actually at all. There were two. There was no furniture in the kitchen, except for there was an island. There was no furniture in the living room or the dining room. Um, there I just had a bed with a sheet that covered. Um, yeah, and so I wasn't allowed to be around people, and so it was just I wasn't trying to be awkward, but I was very awkward. I was very awkward. And people were treat like this guy, like I was not, I don't know, like I thought he was just talking to me. And like, so he was talking to me. I thought he was just talking to my face because it was loud. And then I never noticed this nigga is putting his face in my neck. And then I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck? And then so that was the last time I went to class. That was the last time I went to class. Um, I don't know how people are supposed to act because I was only physically and sexually abused. So I'm thinking this is God's people. They just about to, you know, act right. But I realized like he was trying to test me to see if I was a hoe. I'm thinking like it's loud, so he's just talking. And yeah, I never went back. I never went back. Um, After that. Um, so then, man, I feel like now it's not as hard as it used to be from being kidnapped to being completely isolated, for the first time. Because, like, before it was like me and my daughter, that was, I thought I was lonely because I didn't have adults to talk to, but that was way better. And I was happy that I had my daughter. I just still felt heartache from not having anyone my age to talk to. Like, I was there to take care of her, you know? I'm glad I had someone to take care of. Now I don't even have anybody to take care of. I don't have a companion or anybody to take care of but myself. It is hard. Some days are hard. Some days are not hard. Some days I genuinely appreciate I don't got to worry about nobody jumping me, setting me up, stealing from me. I genuinely appreciate that. I don't got to worry about nobody talking about me, setting me up to harm me. Um, but then some days are like really, really hard. Like some days I need a hug. Some days, every day, I need someone to talk to. You know, every time I get something to eat, I think about my person in the days like when it will be us, and I'll be like, what you want to eat tonight? Like what you feeling for lunch? What you feeling for dinner? Like, but it is getting easier. I think I don't know if I could say easier. It's still some days are hard, some days are not. I don't know.